Hi there, I'm Nicola and I've come to give you a bit of a keyboard tutorial on how to key change and things like that, tools that can be really useful in worship, particularly in building atmosphere. Key changes are often used if you want to heighten the intensity of a song. Often you might have, say, a 3-verse song and perhaps in the last verse you'll want to go up a key just to build that intensity, or maybe you've got a couple of songs in a worship bracket and they may not be in the same key. Perhaps you want to have a really smooth transition and a smooth segue, and somehow you want to know how you can link these songs without stopping, music down, next piece up and again. So we're looking for fluidity and transitions. So first of all, we're going to take a song that everyone should know, or most people would know anyway, Shout to the Lord by Darlene Check. And in this case we're playing it in the key of C major, and we're going to explore how I might go from Shout to the Lord in a worship bracket. Perhaps I'll start with Shout to the Lord and then I would want to move to one of my songs that is on the Infuse and Ignite album called Raised Up, which is in F major. Now there is some relationship between the keys of C and F, and I don't want to get too technical with you, but let's just, I'll play through and perhaps we can talk about it after, the bones, I guess, of how we've done that, and give you a bit of a theory, a method, I guess, of how you can apply that not just to these two songs, but to any songs you want to use in a worship bracket where you don't want any break in between, where you want to go from one to the other and keep it nice and smooth. So we'll pick up at the end of the chorus in Shout to the Lord from the Nothing Compares to the Promise I Have in You, and then transitioning into the beginning of the chorus from Raised Up, which is in F, in the new key there. My transition chord going into Raised Up. Okay, and now I've established that we are now in F major. So you might have noticed I started talking when we got to that transition chord. So when we go back into C, and then I want to land in the new key, which is F major. The rule of thumb, if you're going into a new key, the only real notes you need to worry about, so in F major, if I count up 4 notes, so there's 1, 2, 3, 4, I've landed on B flat. In this transition chord, or a pivot chord, if I may call it that, you need to have that in your right hand. So that 4th chord, that B flat chord, and what you need to put it on top of in the bass is the 5th note in F major, which is C. So if I play that for you with the B flat chord on top and just a C bass note, there's our pivot chord setting up beautifully going into F major. Same thing would work if I wanted to use it within a song, as I suggested earlier. Perhaps you've got a 3, 4, 5 verse song and perhaps you think it's not going very far, or you want to build intensity, you want it to be a rousing finish to a song in a worship setting. You might choose to have a key change toward the end for the final verse or the final 2 verses or whatever it is you decide to do. So let's use Raised Up, okay? And this is how it appears on the album, where for the majority of the song we are in F major, and then at the end for the final chorus I take it into G major. So let me play to you what happens, and I'll show you how we've used that same pivot chord theory, that same little method. Here's the pivot chord setting us up for G. And then it keeps going, okay? So again, in that case, we're going from F major into G major. So you take the new key, which is G, count up 4 notes, 1, 2, 3, 4, G, A, B, C. C major chord in your right hand, and you need to put it over the 5th in the bass. So again, counting up from G, G, A, B, C, D. Let's put them together. And you can just hear that it wants to resolve to the the G major chord there. So that 4/5, the fourth chord over the fifth bass note, will work no matter what keys you're going in between, but just be sure that when you're working that out in that little method that you're always referring to the new key that you're going to. A never fail, foolproof way of making sure that you're able to transition between keys to optimize and maximize the potential in your worship time.